The way the game works is I'm just going to rifle off a quick word or phrase. You tell me the first word or phrase that comes to mind. I don't know if you remember this game from last time.
Yeah.
And then we're done. All right. The only rule is that you can't repeat yourself twice. So think of it like a word relation game. You're familiar with this? First word is Kobe Bryant.
Obsessed.
The key to a successful marriage or relationship.
The work you do 18 months before getting married, like the due diligence you do before and asking the questions before you get married. You know, how you get married. You know, once you're married, you're screwed because you're in it. Yeah. So now you got to really make it work. But if you're not married yet, it's what you do before getting married that matters, because that sets the expectations up front.
The biggest lesson you learned in Monaco when the deal closed, or most profound thought you had in Monaco?
I love Monaco. I love Monaco. I love Saint-Tropez. I love everything about that area. It's just that every time I go there, I'm so happy. I'm smiling like this every second when I'm in Monaco.
It's the most billionaires in the world live there, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful. It's smaller than Central Park, by the way. That's how small the place is. Wow. Smaller than Central Park. And you know what's an interesting fact? Here's a crazy fact for you. Do you know what's the highest life expectancy country in the world?
Monaco.
Monaco, 89.5.
People live good there.
People live good there. They live a long life.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have great health insurance. They have everything, but they live a long life.
I love that. 4 would be the biggest misconception you had about, big money. Maybe that, when you were a kid dreaming about like a 9-figure situation, what's the biggest misconception you have being on this side of the fence?
Biggest misconception. The concept of more money, more problems. So some people are afraid that when you have more money, you have more problems. That is a misconception. You don't have more problems because you have smarter brains around you that handle each of those individual problems. So it's not more money, more problems. It's more money, more advisors.
Best advice you've ever been given in business?
This advice, I've been, man, this changes very often. It's different at different phases of life. So it's different when I was 21 getting started versus 25 versus 29 about to start a company versus, I'll give you one of them. Before starting a company, how about that? I'm 29 years old. The first person that knows that I'm about to start a company, one of the first 2 people that knows, it's this man named Bill. So we meet in San Bernardino at this breakfast joint, like a Denny's, slightly better quality food. And I sit down and I tell him, I said, listen, I know exactly what I want to do. I know what our cause is. This is our mission statement: saving America by bringing back the free enterprise system and hope to American families. I said to him, I want to put an event. I want to dress like George Washington. I want my wife to dress like Lady Liberty. I want to have a 40-foot Mount Rushmore on the stage. I want to bring Reagan's son to speak. I want to bring somebody from the Claremont Institute. I want to talk about the Star-Spangled Banner with Dudley Rutherford. I want to get everybody to realize we're going on a big-ass movement to make everybody realize the American dream starts with entrepreneurship, not homeownership. That's what I want to do. He says, that's your mission statement? I said, yeah. He says, I wouldn't launch it yet. When are you planning on telling people? I said, this week. He said, don't do it. I said, why not? He said, if you launch a mission and a vision this big and your people don't see, because you're sitting up here saying, one day we're going to have presidents come to our event, senators, the #1 comedian, Kobe Bryant, all these guys, because I did this video dressed as Doc from Back to the Future. And this is like 2010. And I said, one day presidents will come to the event. One day Kobe Bryant, one day the best comedians will come to the event. He says, don't do it unless you're fully committed to it, because your people will look at you as a phony. Just scared the crap out of me, because it's a lot of pressure now, right? Because you have to come through. So I'm like, oh, I'm not starting it yet. I'm not telling people this yet. So I stepped away. Nobody knows I'm going through this conversation with this man. And I walked away and I said, yeah, I'm not ready yet. 90 days later, I said, I want to do part 2 breakfast with you. We go back. I said, I'm doing it. He said, so you're committed to it? I said, yes. This is, I want to be at the event. Anyways, so I did it. I announced it. And then the moment I announced it, and I gave everybody a shirt with all the vision, 4 things on it, right? And I said, we're going for it. Well, that night, I've never slept with that kind of anxiety and panic in my body as that night, because officially the world knows what the vision is. So it was one of the best advice, because before you go up there and talk a big game about what you're going to do, if it comes out of your mouth that you don't come through, what you're really doing is everybody is sitting out there saying he's just a talker, not a doer. So I don't know if that advice made any sense, but at that phase of my life, very valuable advice.
And the last one is, what's the biggest limiting belief you had to overcome along your journey thus far?
You know, I'll tell you one of them. This is a big one, okay? I'll tell you one of them. One of them is thinking everybody has that 1, 2, or 3 people in your mind that, man, if I don't get that person's blessing or endorsement, I'm never going to make it. It's not true. You want me to unpack that, or does that kind of make sense
If
to you?
you guys got the time, because I know we're tight on time here, but
So here's what I mean by that. When a person says, you know, you're sitting there, you're like, man, that guy has to give me the blessing. But I got to get his confirmation.
permission.
I got to get, not permission. It's more like, you know, hey, if I don't interview that guy, if I don't get that carrier, if I don't get that investment from that guy, if I don't get that person to sit on my board, if I don't get that person as an advisor, if I don't get that person, you know, it's not going to happen for us. It's not true. Okay. Because the way life works is in the following way. Here's what I've learned. If you have a sincere vision and you're constantly making progress towards that vision, I don't know why this is the case. The people you need for that appear, if it's real.
And if you're committed, convicted.
It's such an interesting dynamic. You know, for the longest time, I would go to New York and I would do 6 interviews over 2 days. So imagine, like, you're preparing for 1 interview, and imagine doing 3 of them and 3 2-hour interviews. Okay, so boom, 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 your brain is fried. And then I'm doing conference call at night for my sales team. And in the morning, I'm going on 4 hours of sleep, and I got to do 3 more interviews the next day. And then I got to go to another event to speak to 600 people. So it's like, you're going through this, like, oh my God. And I'm the booker. People are not coming to Dallas. Who goes to Dallas to do interviews? So versus the last 2 years or the last 18 months, the types of people that call, like, if I told you who was here 5 days ago spending 5 hours with me, you wouldn't believe it. If I told you just 5 days ago who was here.
Who was it?
I mean, you wouldn't believe it if I told you, but you know who it is. One of the most powerful people in the world.
Could we get a hint? Quick.
Yeah, he lives in America. He's a very a big hint I just gave you, right? But the point is, now they're reaching out. So that one person you thought you needed is now calling you. So it's a very, just go validate that you're a player in the marketplace, and those 8 people that you thought you needed, you're going to one day say, I can't even believe I was hung up, you know, I was hung up on that one guy or that 2. No, you're good. Market's going to validate you.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pat. I appreciate that. For you guys listening around the world, make sure to follow Pat in the link in the description down below if you guys don't already. Until next time, live strong, live with passion, and like Pat mentioned, make sure to go out and live that vision over the long term. We'll see you guys in the next inspiring episode. Peace.